understand why people don't like it or people don't listen to it because of one co-host, but I think it's top tier.
Tradies?
Yeah, like arguably one of the best footy podcasts going around.
What's your favorite?
My favorite is 200. My favorite's 200 plus. But
Why?
That's because it's Nick Butler, Sam Draper, and Charlie Comben talking about footy, but also not talking about footy, like talking about just random shit, and it's funny because they're three funny people, and they talk about just a whole range of topics. So
that actually makes a lot of sense coming from you.
It's footy adjacent. I wouldn't even say it's a footy podcast. It's three footy related people talking about footy for 5 minutes and then talking about like dicks, and it's great.
Okay. Well, anyway, we are here to talk about the footy and also other things. Hello, everyone. Hey, we are back and we are live for the Biased Footy Show. It is Wednesday, the 26th of March, 2025. Ari, we don't have a Thursday game, so we're back live with the audience. We can talk to people. We can go back. We can go forth. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. I'm ticking along. I'm counting down I was going to say counting down the days till Friday, but I'm not with excitement, with dread, if anything. But look, we'll front up. But no, apart from that, very well. Very well.
Yeah. Joel's here. Damien's here. Kylie's here. Eleanor is here. If you are tuning in, say hello. Ari, how's the tension this week?
I know, right? It's on a knife edge. It's fever pitch.
Oh, it's real palpable, man. It's so sensitive.
Yeah, it's everyone's angsty. Everyone's really angsty.
Yeah,
everyone's really everyone's hangry. Like everyone is. I wouldn't say irrationally angry, but everyone is just in a permanent state of irritation. And I don't think, you know how like when you're tired, when you're sometimes when you're angry, you can fix it with a sleep or fix it with like a good meal or whatever, or a drink of water. The only way we all know the only way that this gets fixed, and something we can't control, which is the best and worst part of it all, I think.
Oh man, yeah, it's the appetite for a win and some positive momentum is palpable. Like it's the 26th of March and the only positive thing in terms of football performance has been the GWS practice match. That's it.
Yeah, that's an indictment. That's
grim.
Very awfully. Continuing with 2 games in as well. It's not particularly helpful, and it's hard to not it's good to not forecast and take it 1 week at a time, but it's hard not to. And I'm fearful of the ramifications should we not get 4 points on Friday, not only for the immediate future, but for the long-term future. So, yeah.
Well, if you are new, most of you will be new to this show because it's only a few episodes old. Basically, this is the Biased Footy Show. We are going to talk about the themes and issues arising from each club based on each game that comes up. So we're going to look ahead to each game coming up in round 3. And within each game, there will be issues that come up for each team. I have a feeling we might be talking a little bit more about Carlton than what we usually would, but that's okay. Firstly, Ari, how'd you go last week with the tipping, mate? What's the story?
I was pretty confident. We chatted very briefly about it towards the back end of the Swans Freo game, which is a pretty good game as well, might I add. But I think I got, 7 games? I think I got 5 right, if I'm not mistaken. If this ESPN app wants to load, that'd be terrific. But yeah, I faulted at the end. 6 right, 6 of the 8 games right. The Saints and the Swans spoiled my party, or Joel Amadi, I should be particular in saying, spoiled my party with his clutch moment later on. But yeah, still pretty content with the tips so far.
5 out of 7? 6 out of 7. 6 out of 8.
6 out of 8.
Yeah, I tipped 5. Richard, we are live, mate. We are absolutely live right now. We're back. Until we play another Thursday game, we will be live. Ari, what were the games you got incorrect? Did you end up tipping Carlton?
No, I stuck to my guns and thought in my head. I kept them ahead. I looked at it from a more pragmatic approach. As Black and White United in the comments there. So the Saints spoiled my party on Saturday night, and like I said, Joel Amadi did what he did in the late moments and kind of knocked that off the perch as well. But happy otherwise. Pretty happy.
I ended up tipping Carlton. Pathetic. I ended up tipping. I actually tipped Geelong, even though on Footy Abroad I said St Kilda, and then I tipped the D's.
Yeah. See,
I nearly got the draw, Ari. Nearly got the draw.
Yeah, that was quite. That was awfully close. Awfully close. But we are yet to. Well, we yet to see it this season. I'm sure one will float across the 23 weeks.
A draw happens at least once a year, generally, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say that's about average. Yeah. I mean, last year we had how many? It was a couple last year, wasn't there?
A couple last year, maybe 2 or 3. I think Collingwood and the Bombers on Anzac Day, and then
Brisbane Adelaide. If there's anyone else, if there's any other, correct us in the chat. But yeah, I was pretty stoked with my North pick. Pretty stoked.
Yep, very good.
Pretty stoked with my North pick. So yeah.
Alrighty, hey, let's get cracking.
Let's go.
Let's absolutely get cracking. So the first game of the week is the Bombers and Port Adelaide tomorrow night, Thursday. It's at Marvel. Bombers coming. I mean, it's just such a volatile time. Every win, because there's not a lot of data for the season this year. Every win and loss is just, it's got a microscope on it. But how do you see this game playing out? Bombers Port.
Well, it's almost. I think Port got the win that they needed to last week, which we'll be happy about, of course. So yeah, like they're obviously going to be in a weird spot for the entirety of the year, considering their immediate future beyond 2025. Obviously, like as I've said in the run sheet, they're 11-1 in the last 12 games at Marvel Stadium, and who was their only loss against?
Carlton. That would have been 2023.
Yes, when Jesse and Jack took the absolute piss that day. So yeah, they've obviously got a great record at Marvel, which is quite a weird quite a bizarre stat, because it doesn't seem like something that would make a whole lot of sense, but it does. And the Bombers are in a very tumultuous time so far.
Why do I get the feeling this is the time to tip the Bombers? It's when this feeling is around them that they generally play well.
Well, it's that backs against the wall sort of thing, isn't it? That we kind of sense a lot with our team as well. When the proverbial guns to the head, that's where they decide to show up. I don't know. I like Port. Obviously, Lukosius being out injured is going to hurt them kind of forward of the ball. That probably means we see the Hornet play a little bit more forward, which gives them a completely different dynamic, very hard matchup. And the Bombers, I've put here the other Bombers in a rebuild. Do you subscribe to that theory? Because that was floated around midweek, and I tend to agree with your facial reaction there.
As in, like, everyone in a rebuild. I get what you like. As in, the definition of rebuild can change from person to person. It's like, the team that trades out their senior players, gets draft picks, goes to the draft, et cetera. And then there's like the mini rebuild. Then there's like the on the fly rebuild. So I don't know.
Well, as I was mentioning from the top, trades was a great listen this week, and it was brought up as a talking point that the Bombers list is actually not that dissimilar player for player in a sense, and kind of profile for profile, as the Hawthorn list is and was, in particular at the start of last year when they were 0-5. When you look at kind of their player profiles forward of the ball, their player profiles kind of in the middle of the ground, I guess defense, especially this year, Hawthorn probably take the cake in that regard, but I think last year it was quite comparable. So I don't subscribe with that theory that they're in a rebuild. I think they're a young team who we've seen young teams get on a run, and we've seen young teams find that thing. Yeah. But they looked pox on Saturday. Whenever the game was, they looked really bad.
Yeah, I mean, they played against an Adelaide who's just humming along.
Yeah, they're scary. They're scary.
Yeah, they've got all the elements. We'll touch on them. Are you locking in a tip for this game?
I think Paul will do it.
See, this is where I tip badly because this is a classic situation where I tip the Bombers because I'm not afraid. But Port will win this game, right?
I think so. Do Port get upset a lot? Like, are they on the end of upsets? I don't really think they are. Not from memory. In recent times, like they don't seem like one of those teams that are, and maybe this is the Ken effect. They don't seem like one of those teams that fall unexpectedly to teams that they definitely should beat. Unless I'm completely misremembering, but yeah.
Yeah. Crows did cough up 100 points. They tend to play bad at Marvel. Well, they're actually 11-1 in their last 12 games at Marvel, Port Adelaide, which is a fascinating stat. I think I'll tip Port. I think I won't be silly.
I would tend to agree, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Here we go. How long have you got?
Oh, man. Carlton, Western Bulldogs, Friday night. I mean, this is the Carlton fan channel. And like every time I think about them at the moment, it's just stressful.
Yeah. Dread. Anxiety.
What is happening, mate? Let's just knock it on the head. Harry apparently won't play this week.
Yeah. That's from reports from Blue Broad's very own Paolo Sebastiani, or formerly. So yeah, you got to take his word for that, I guess. Obviously you like the stat I put in the run sheet. Carlton are currently on a run of 10. Their last 10 home and away games, they're 2-8 with those 2 wins coming against North and West Coast. And the last time that stat was true was 2023, and they would go on to win 9 in a row. So,
wait. The last time Carlton were 2-8 in their last 10 home and away games, where both of those 2 wins came against North and West Coast, that's when round 14, started. 2023 happened. Okay.
That's when the run started. So
interesting.
I guess I found that out and chuckled to myself. I was like, that's quite ironic. Because obviously the 1995 stats hold zero merit and hold zero sort of weight behind this current team. But the fact that stat is only true from 2 years ago and it's relatively the same team, does it provide any perspective as to the fact that they can turn it around, or are we in a completely different situation now?
It's a great question, and I think it flows on into the confirmation bias. So I believe what you think is going to happen, like if you are in the camp of Sack Voss, for example, you will say, but we're 2-11 in our last 13 or whatever that stat is. And you will use the end of last year in addition to the first games this year to back that up. And you'd be valid.
Yeah.
But by the same token, if you're going to dip into 2024 and say, look at the last 5-6 games, why don't you keep going and say, well, hang on a minute, in round 17, 16, 15, we were top 4, we were top 2. So it's like, where's the cutoff? Where's the cutoff of when your argument needs to take into context the entirety of 2024? Because I'm seeing confirmation bias. Like if you believe one thing, you will only stop your argument after GWS last year.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And I think we're seeing a lot of Carlton supporters on social media is both great and bad for this. But we're seeing a lot of the mind frames around the Carlton supporters and what they're thinking and how they approach like watching footy and like how they approach watching the team. Nothing is right or wrong. It's just unique to the individual. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was kind of thinking, okay, it's the rebuild, right? And I won't touch on this for too long, but a lot of the talk has been around where we are 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 in the rebuild, whatever, right? That's rubbish. The rebuild finished in 2020, 2021. We had a 5-year rebuild, and then from 2021 onwards, it was wins. It was the list is here for the most part. Now kick on. And it took us 2 years to make finals from that point, and then obviously we made finals in the back-to-back years, and the results have been up and down throughout that, right? So
Sorry, just a tad. Sorry, I'm trying to stay with you.
Again.
No, I'm trying to stay with you. It's just
Yeah, okay. The results have been up and down since that point, basically since obviously kind of throughout Voss's tenure. So when you're meant to be stable, it's far harder to accept instability when you're meant to be there. And I think a lot of Carlton supporters look at this list and look at the context and be like, we are supposed to be here. The reason why we're supposed to be here is because Cripps turned 30 last week. Charlie's not going to get any. You don't think Charlie's not going to get any better? Harry, I mean, ignoring the last kind of ignoring the start of the season, he's been very good, and he's kind of at his peak right now. De Koning might leave. Wiedering's at his peak. Walsh, we don't know what's happening with him in terms of his body and if he can stay fit. So it's easier to panic now than in 2023 when we were still figuring it out in a sense. Like right now, we should have figured it out by now. I think that's where a lot of frustration comes from.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how exaggerations happen. Exaggeration number one. Harry is not desperate to win a premiership. That's not what he said. He said, we wake up every day thinking about it, and we're not in a rushness to win it this year. We're thinking about day to day, and we're thinking about how we can be the best version of ourselves day to day. That's been blown out of proportion. This is another one. Voss can't coach. The game style doesn't stack up. But in round 17 last year, Voss could coach when we were second. So there's a lot of volatility on either side.
Yeah, we are.
The other one is, Voss has been coaching for 4 years. No, he hasn't. This is the start of the 4th year. It's 3 full seasons plus 2 games. So is he under pressure? Fuck yeah. Is everyone under pressure? Absolutely they are. But there's absolutely no need to exaggerate everything.
I totally agree. And I think the reason why I like that stat that I fell into my lap basically is because it puts into context the fact that we're 11 rounds removed from being second. It feels like 15 years, but we are 11 AFL games removed from being second. In the same way that in 2023, in a space of 11 AFL games, we went from 15th to 5th.
Yeah.
So that is probably the school of thought in which I currently sit in. Things can change week to week. Things can change in a month. Things can change Friday 11 p.m.
I'm trying to remember the last time I'm trying to remember the last time I felt that we just needed a win. It was mid 2023. That's the last time I was like, man, we just need a win. Like, I mean, we had like 4 or 5 losses in a row, beat West Coast, and then a couple more losses in a row. I think the Gold Coast game in 2023, it was like, oh, please, just like find a way, like give us something. Yeah. It's a bit of that. Like, we just need to sing the song after a game, and so there can be something resembling a pulse of momentum.
Totally agree.
So let's just go back to Harry, right? So late last week, pre-game, Harry's out with illness. What was your reaction when you saw it? Were you like, yeah, okay, fair enough, he woke up sick, or were you like, not sure?
I believe it, yeah.
Okay.
I believed it at the time, and I still do.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I asked around on Monday at training, like, what's going on? He woke up sick. He's not training today. We're expecting him back later in the week. Okay, cool. So there's that. Then there's this. Then there's today. Paul reveals that he's almost certain to not play. Nobody else ran with it. No other journo ran with it, which was interesting. Yeah. So there's that. Immediately I thought, because I thought there was more to it last week. I didn't believe it on surface level. And then, within all of this conversation, there is suggestions that it's glandular fever. I've seen mental health. I've seen body soreness, heel, knee knock, like a number of things. So the way I've tried to figure it out, I'm like, okay, if he had glandular fever, I reckon they would have told us by now. I reckon they would have made it pretty clear.
Perhaps.
If it was physically related, like knocks and knees, I think they would have classified it as soreness. I don't think it would have been illness.
Corky, yeah.
Yeah, corky, bruise, something. I feel like they would have just come out and said it by now. Injury report was Tuesday. So I'm led to believe potentially it could be something a little bit more sensitive. So if that's the case, that's a whole other issue that we'll see what happens. At the point of this show right now, it's 6:20 and there's no official statement from the club. We have a report from Paul, and that's what we have right now. But yeah, either way, I don't think he just woke up with flu-like symptoms last Thursday.
Well, okay. That's fair enough. My point of view is, and this is something that I'm maybe ignorant to, I guess a response to this question will kind of prove my point right or wrong. What is the reason the club would lie about it?
To protect him.
To protect Harry.
Player welfare.
So if Harry has a sore calf, why would they not just say that?
Well, there is a school of thought that it can be a bit of a competitive advantage. So, for example, if the Western Bulldogs prepare for Harry for 15 minutes or 30 minutes when Carlton knows that he won't play, for example, well, that's 30 wasted minutes in the Western Bulldogs preparation, that sort of thing. Now, you either agree with that as a fan or you don't. I think you do anything you can to win a game of football. And if you can hide some information to get a competitive advantage in a game, you do it. Fair enough. I kind of disagree with it for the most part, but I also get it. You know?
Sorry to jump in.
Yeah.
I agree with that perspective to a certain extent. However, my view is more looking at it kind of for this week as well. Bailey Smith was a late withdrawal due to a calf. So if Harry, if the club knew that Harry wasn't going to play midweek last week, and the morning of the game or the an hour and a half before the game they ran with illness instead of the actual injury that may or may not exist, we don't know. I say my opinion on it. Why didn't they just come out and say that it's the actual injury?
Well, that's what leads me to believe it's not a physical injury or a sickness.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. You don't. So you said you don't think it's a illness.
My guess is that it's not a physical injury or like flu-like symptoms. I think it's something more sensitive.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because if it wasn't something sensitive,
the ambiguity around
I reckon he would have just been on the injury report on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm looking at it from the perspective of, I believe that it is illness. Quite a broad category, like you said, could be flu-like symptoms, could be glandular fever, could be a myriad of different things. I believe it is illness, and my statement, in a sense, to the people that don't believe that it is illness, that believe he is physically injured, is that why would the club lie about a physical injury when it does not matter if they knew that he wasn't going to play regardless?
So you can waste the opposition's time.
But if they knew he wasn't going to play regardless, why come out and say that it's illness instead of the actual injury if they knew he wasn't going to play when they announced it at the same time?
Because it could be a chance to play.
Yeah, but it could be a chance to play with
because it doesn't rule him out. But they haven't ruled him out yet, right? They haven't ruled him out.
I agree. Yeah, but just say he's got a sore calf and he may or may not play. What's the difference?
No. The other point to this story is Paul's doing his job. No issue there. The way that information has come out is a concern to me.
Totally agree.
A concern. It's like the leaks are back.
Yep.
They're back. I actually filmed a video about it and then I nearly hit publish and then I saw another tweet around what it would have been. I thought, all right, I'll just leave it. I'll wait for official confirmation. But there is a lot of people who are messaging through rumors. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, if you get information, you want to pass it on. Like, we're all interested in what's going on with the club, of course, but it's rising in my experience day to day. It's rising. More people have got information than what I have experienced in years. And I don't know if that's just because I'm meeting more people or people are just more comfortable to reach out, but like, there are people who are reaching out randomly and they're just like, yo, this is what's happening. And I'm like, okay, we're leaking again.
Yeah. It's 2019 areas when that was that was rife, and then heading into like probably pre-Sayers and pre-Sayers Cook era. Yeah, that does not help the situation, regardless of what it is, regardless of the reason he's out and the reason he's not playing, doesn't help the situation, and that's the worst thing about it all, right? Because his welfare is being questioned and being rumored about and being gossiped about. It's not good regardless of what the issue is. So doesn't help the player, doesn't help the club, doesn't help the fans. That's
Yeah. Look, we invest as a club heavily in the mental side of the game. Our club psychologist now sits on the bench of games.
Yep.
So I don't understand how we don't have all the tools given to the players to deal with the pressures of the game. I mean, Harry's under pressure. He's not under any more pressure than any of the stars in Carlton's team right now or other stars in the competition. So where I'm sitting with it is like, okay, I acknowledge and understand and empathize that there is pressure. And first and foremost, I hope Harry's all right. I hope he just has gastro. I hope he's just been on the shitter all week and he's just genuinely sick.
The ideal situation is like he's on the shitter right now, reading the tweets and laughing. That's just the ideal.
You know, he's lost a couple of kilos, been shitting all week. Like that would be great.
Yeah, that's the ideal.
But then it's like, with the club, why let the speculation happen? Like, Elijah Holland's another example. The Elijah Hollands, when the news dropped, it was like we heard about the Elijah Hollands news months before the Elijah Hollands news became official. Let's be honest. But it's that gap that allows for speculation to mount, which is where I think we can make an adjustment.
But yeah, I agree. But would you also not just like how that opens up a rabbit hole? Because, in my opinion, let's use the example that Harry he's on the shit, has got gastro, bit of food poisoning, ate a dodgy Chinese, whatever, right?
Yeah.
He's ill. He's got an illness, right? Does the club have to come out and say that it's gastro? The point being is that in 3 weeks' time, if in 3 weeks' time player X does a hamstring, for example, does the club then need to come out and be like, he has done X, Y, Z to his hamstring, he will do X, Y, Z in the weeks leading up to things, and then he's expected back in X, Y, Z? How much detail do we, don't want to use the word deserve, but how much detail are we entitled to, in a sense, when we are given the truth? Should Harry have gastro, that he's ill? That's the truth.
Well, I think this comes back to the question of mistrust.
Yeah,
there's a gap in trust.
I understand your point.
Fans don't trust. People don't trust authority. Fans don't trust. What's going on at the club. Fans are pissed off, and I think the other reality is people know how valuable Harry is, which is actually where the frustration is coming from.
Well, I was going to say he played 96% game time against Richmond.
Yeah.
The second highest on the ground for us.
At the end of the day, I hope Harry's all right. We need him to do anything.
We need him more than 99% of the fan base thinks, in my opinion. He's top 3, arguably top 2 most important structural players of the club, in my opinion.
So I hope he gets back. Going back to the game.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's his health and well-being, the absolute priority.
So we love a bit of Harry, but
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to assume, well, you know what? We're going to find out tomorrow during the team show. In 24 hours, we will find out exactly what's going down.
Do you think they'll say anything about him should he not be picked?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'll be vague as you know, I think it'll be
yeah.
like Harry is still experiencing symptoms from last week and will be a test and be reassessed at the conclusion of round 3. That's going to be my guess of the statement.
Can we put money on that? I reckon that's word for word, bang on.
I reckon that's actually word for word what might happen.
Yeah, can we get in the live chat predictions of word for word what will be said if Harry doesn't get picked tomorrow? There you go.
Now the doggies.
Another
the doggies.
Interesting term.
You got this thing on the run sheet here. How good can Sam Darcy be? Will he be the first $2 million player? Can I push back on this whole conversation?
Please.
Why are we so obsessed with putting player X on pedestal? Plays one elite. I mean, he's had a couple of elite games and he looked like Wayne Carey last week and he took the marks on the lead, caught the ball at its highest point. The guy's probably going to be a star. Like, you know, the hyperbole around throw the $2 million at him. You know what it says to me? It's like, I see these comments in the mainstream media like, yep, give Sam Darcy $2 million a year for 10 years. And then if it were to happen, the same people would be like, I can't believe they spent so much money on one player for such a long contract. And he's gonna miss 4 weeks in 3 years from now because he might have a sore knee. And they go, I can't believe it was a 10-year deal. Yeah. It's almost like it's the Harley Reid thing. It's like build him up so you can fucking tear him down.
Yeah.
Let the kid play.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. I also just I think the rationale maybe behind it is that we want guns in the game. We want forwards, especially big, tall forwards, kicking 100 and 110 goals a year and having 23 touches, taking 14 marks a game, and just absolutely dominating like the good old days with Chief and Duck and Lockett and Ablett and Kernahan and whatever, right? And I also think it's good for the game, like as in it's good marketing for the game if you put the elite young players on a pedestal, because his game was absurd on Friday. He was ridiculous.
No doubt. I want to celebrate all the players in the game. I just think, maybe it's just early in the season and the narratives haven't really settled, but I'm watching a lot of jumping to conclusions, in all facets. So he may very well become the first $2 million player. Maybe, but just let the year play out. Let the kid go, mate. Let him play footy.
I agree. Like Damien said, Will Day was winning the Brownlow after his first game.
Yeah,
we all do it. Yeah, we all do it. I'm probably very kind of guilty of doing that as well. I think there's definitely a line between celebrating an elite performance by an exciting young player, between doing that and then having them be the next Gary Ablett, the next kind of Wayne Carey, whatever you want to call them. So he's going to be hard to stop on Friday.
The question is, chat, yes or no? Will you tip Carlton? Ari, will you tip Carlton?
I'm looking at my tips right now, and I've done all my tips now.
Okay.
I have not tipped Carlton.
You've tipped the Western Bulldogs.
I've tipped the Western Bulldogs.
I have been saying all week, I don't know how, I don't know why. I just think they'll do it somehow. I don't, and Sean and I had a really good conversation about this on Monday. I don't think we were that bad last Thursday. I think it was the lingering effect of how disgusting the Richmond game was. Yeah. I think the intensity was at the level last week. The execution was not. And I think we are in for a cracking contest. But the Harry McKay question mark, it gives me a big concern because of what he does structurally, especially when he's in the same team as Charlie, and also with Charlie just not being at his best right now. And I'm aware of that. It gives me a bit of concern. The Dogs also have serious injuries. I mean, their two best midfielders are not playing. and one of them is their captain. Actually, were they both all Australian last year?
I don't know about Trelaw, but definitely was.
Okay. Yeah. So I just think because were you at the game last week?
Our game.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That midpoint of the second quarter, there was a bit of a G up in the crowd. For the first time, I actually stood up. I think when Cherry kicked that goal, and also when Saad kicked the ball over to Zach Williams, like I actually stood up and I felt the thing. The thing on game day. I felt it. I think
it was probably the first time since Geelong last year. I mean, the St Kilda game we felt it a little bit, but I think that was more desperation than anything. The Geelong game last year, that was 5% of that. Yeah, Trelaw was on the bench. There you go. So, I also Matt Kennedy redemption game.
Yeah. So I think Friday we'll have a bit of that if we can get on a roll during the game, because there's tension, and I truly believe we want to get excited about what's happening on the field. We want to get excited about the results, and I think if the guys can just lock in and crack in, got the roof closed, it'll echo, it'll be loud. Hopefully there's no Freddie Mercury playing.
I'm very happy you called that out. That should have gone round 1, 2024. I love the club, love the people involved. They've been nothing but nice to any small interaction we've ever had with them. It needs to go. Seven Nations Army, keep that. Great. Song was written at the Corner Hotel in Richmond. Great. Beautiful pump up. Get rid of the Freddie Mercury thing. Can I quickly just say the last time Charlie Curnow played his first game of the season, did not kick a goal, he would then on to kick 5 goals against the Dogs the next week.
Okay.
Beautiful thought.
Let's see. All right. Wow. 20 minutes on Carlton. Classic.
Did you expect any more?
No, we're actually going to go back to Carlton at the end of this. I think we'll come back to it. Melbourne Gold Coast. I am pumped for this. I am Gold Coast abroad. It's official. They're my second team.
Are you on them?
I love the Gold Coast Suns. Love the Suns. Love everything about them. Love all their players.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think they're a very fun team. They're fun. They're new. They're exciting, young. Got the good inclusions and the kids ready to just break the competition apart. Unfortunate for Charlie Bell to go down with his knee. That's going to hurt them structurally behind the ball. He's a star, but I think that means Bodie Hewland will play a little bit taller. God, this is awfully niche. Gold Coast second defender chat. So yeah, I'm high on them as well. Need to win this. Like if they go to the G and do what they need to do and do it comfortably, I think we're like, yep, that's another box tick for them.
So this morning, I was in the infrared sauna, and at the place that I go to.
Okay.
Just let me finish. I was in the infrared sauna at this place that I go to, and then right outside the infrared sauna is the traditional sauna, and right outside that room you do the contrast therapy. So yesterday I do every day I alternate. I do contrast one day, traditional sauna for 20, into the ice bath for 2 minutes, blah blah blah, and then the next day I do infrared. So today I'm in the infrared, and I see the 3 stallions walking into the traditional sauna: Clary, Track, and Van Rooyen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where's this?
It's a place called Super Young.
Okay.
It's like a wellness place. They've got all sorts of hyperbaric chambers. Like Harry Sheasel's there. He's doing like oxygen therapy. Yet to see a Carlton boy in there yet, but
that's right. No, they're at Salt, East Melbourne. Corner
yeah. Clary, Track, Van Rooyen, like the elite.
Yes. How's Track? Looking good.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, looks great.
I love Track.
Yeah, I mean, I was sweating in a sauna, so I didn't really want to. I wasn't trying to, be like, hey.
Yeah, if anything, they were looking at you and being like, "Whoa, who's this guy?" For sure.
So I think I'm going to tip the Suns.
Interesting. Yeah, obviously their record at the G has been kind of much maligned. Only 5 wins in their history, but the D's haven't been that good at the venue recently as well over the last couple of years. They're kind of their record towards 2021, 2022 kind of helps stack that up. It's going to be interesting. Midfield battle is going to be great to watch. the D's entries inside 50 on Sunday were deplorable. I mean, if we think, I know we're pretty pox, they were deplorable on Sunday. So if they fix that up, might stretch the smallish Suns' defense, but it'll be a cracker game. Although, can we get crowd watch again?
Yeah, crowd watch. I didn't remember what I guessed last week, but I think I was right.
I think we guessed way over.
Way over? What didn't we do like 23/26? Wasn't that what we'd guessed?
Yeah, and it was like, I don't think there was much more.
Nah, it must have been over 20,000 people at the G last week from Melbourne.
I don't think so.
It was Melbourne. Is that what it was?
No, it was round one. Giants, Melbourne.
Melbourne.
It was 23,000 at Giants, Melbourne.
I think I tipped 23,000.
I think you did 32, but that's besides the point. We'll go back and watch that later. Crowd watch. I think the weather might have stumped a lot of people because it was like storming and stuff on the Sunday.
That's fair.
Saturday.
No, I think I'll show up. I'll show up Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I think there'll be 28,000.
Why not?
You might go.
Yeah, you want to come?
I have plans on Saturday.
Interesting. Yeah, right. Okay, that's it.
I do. I have plans on Saturday.
I've been ditched. Yeah, I'll go. They should get 30, surely.
They're 0-3. The D's fans get behind them. Yeah.
Sorry.
Who are you tipping?
I think I tipped the Gold Coast Suns, and I will stick with that.
All right. Quick one. I love what you've done here. St Kilda Richmond, Saturday, 4:15 p.m. Maddie's match. You've written here, bleh. Are St Kilda actually good?
Probably not. Maddie's match, great game, great cause.
Could they lose this?
No. Surely not.
You know, if they beat Richmond by like 60 points, I'm going to rage. And every team that basically beats Richmond by 60 plus, I'm going to rage.
I conceded that fact when Port kicked 7 goals in the first quarter against them and didn't go on to lose the lead.
Man, it makes me sick. Like, it's like sickening.
Let's move on.
Anyway.
Saints should win, will win. The game will probably be the worst of the season so far, dare I say.
Okay, so you're going to tip St Kilda?
Yes.
I'm going to tip St Kilda. Then we go to arguably one of the match of the games of the year, which probably will just disappoint because we hype it up before the game starts. But Hawthorn GWS, 7:35 p.m. at Manuka. Isn't this in Tassie?
Is it? It is.
Yeah,
it's at Utah's. Wow, the run sheet's wrong.
Wow, I'm on it, Ari. I'm on it, mate. Wow. In Tassie. That's all right.
There you go, Utah's. I fixed.
Does that affect? Yeah, I think it would. It would affect how you would tip the game, right?
No.
No? Who are you tipping?
The Giants.
Tipping the Giants. Why?
They get some inclusions back in. Hogan back in. All their suspended players from their indiscretions in the preseason back in, so that gives them a little bit more depth. Riccardi back in, Harvey Thomas available for selection, Joe Fonte available for selection, so they could probably move some chess pieces around with their bottom 6 players. I think the Hawks showed some fallibility with their not inability to deal with pressure, but how they can succumb to some real heat on the ball and their ability to not get the ball on the outside. I think we did well to prevent that at stages, especially during the middle 2 quarters. I think the Giants bring head on the ball, and it's going to be a quick game. The transition's going to be pinging all over the joint, which is going to be great to see, I think. I
am also, at this stage, tipping the Giants, but I'm every chance to, like, you know when you like just change your tip moments before the bounce?
No, I stick to my guns. I have morals.
I love doing it. I love getting in my head and then just changing my tip.
I do that with multis, with lake multis, but that's the point.
Yeah, we don't do gambling. We're not sponsored by Sportsbet here, mate. You know,
not yet.
No, there'll be no gambling sponsors here.
That's okay. That's fine.
You got to fight the good fight, Ari. You got to fight the good fight, of course. Mate, you know,
gamble responsibly. Actually, don't even gamble. Don't even gamble. Don't even gamble.
Or chase your losses. Or chase your losses. They can't run forever.
Exactly.
All right. Chat. Oh, you've already got your tips in. Okay, GWS by 7. Blue Bagger doesn't like Hawthorn's arrogance, so go for GWS. A lot of Giants tipping here. Okay.
Giants. It's going to be a close game because I think that what was the stat I put in the run sheet? This stat's definitely correct.
Ooh, a draw?
Draw, that could be interesting. The last 4 games between these two sides have been decided by a combined 23 points.
A combined 23 points. Okay.
And even last year, their results were quite close. If I can bring this up quickly, a loss. Giants won in Canberra by 2 points, and the Hawks won in Tassie by 6. So on a knife edge, both of the games last year between them.
Okay, Rocco, I'm going to remember your name. I'm going to remember your tip. You got the draw in Tassie. I love it. Okay, now we've got at the same time 7:35 at the Gabba. It's the postponement match. It's the Lions and the Cats at the Gabba. Do you think the Lions will be affected by that heat game that they played last week?
It was about 35 degrees.
Sorry?
It was about 35 degrees.
35 degrees. Yep.
I'm not Jane Bunn, and nor am I in Brisbane, so I'll take people's word for it. They struggled. They struggled heavy against West Coast. West Coast shocked them, put pressure on the ball, didn't allow them to transition. They were very clinical when they went forward. It's going to be interesting to see what conditions are, because apparently it's meant to be storming and meant to be like not great down there on Saturday night. So we might end up getting cyclone conditioned football in the first place, which should be good.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards the Cats here. I'm very on the fence.
What's your reasoning?
Bounce back, focus, get Tom Stewart back, like get the full game in, or not, but just know who's playing. I do think the Lions the Lions were lethargic last week, and I do think it's going to have something to do with their performance this week. So we will see.
Points. Very valid points. I was going to say, does the postponement play any part in the preparation for the game? Obviously, both sides are meant to have the bye. Kind of with that, I think we're past that point now where it would matter. I think it's as per.
Yep. Okay. So that's the Lions and the Cats. There, 2 more games. Then your boys, 3:20 p.m. Adelaide and North Melbourne. And you've got it here. You've written here, setting up to be an absolute belter. Based on what?
Based on North last week.
Mate, this is Adelaide 40+.
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be closer. I think Adelaide will win. I think they've just got that 10-15% more than North currently have at the moment. But North looked fucking ridiculous, especially in the second half last week. Chom was taken into set marks for fun. Their connection out of the middle, especially at the start of that last quarter, was really good. So they've got their forward half connection on point, 30 scoring shots between Larky, Zerha, and Curtis in the last 2 games. That's a stupidly high number. So if they can stretch probably the only weakness on Adelaide's team at the moment, which is their untested defence, especially this season, they could start to get some scoreboard reward, and then scoreboard pressure builds, and you never know. But I think that the flip side, Adelaide's 3-pronged attack is considerably better than what Melbourne were able to dish up on Sunday. So, yeah.
Do you know who's back?
Who's back?
Josh Rochelle.
Oh, is he?
He's back. He's back.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's absolutely back.
I feel like you would like Josh Rochelle.
I like Josh Rochelle. I like Michelini. I love Jordan Dawson. He's quickly becoming my favorite player outside of Carlton.
Really?
Like, rapidly. Yep. His leadership has grown so much since I first saw him play. I'm very impressed with him.
Interesting. That midfield battle will be great.
Yeah.
Will be really good.
I'm tipping the Crows for sure. Are you tipping the Crows, or you...
Tipping the Crows tentatively.
Okay. Then you've written this down as the banana skin game. So it's the Derby, it's West Coast,
Derby,
Fremantle.
Derby.
Sorry? My bad. It's Derby, the Western Derby. Why is it Derby and not Derby?
Because Perth people are weird when they say a derby.
Oh, they specifically say Derby.
Yeah, isn't it the same thing how Adelaide people say like, they're very posh with their A's.
Yeah,
I don't know what the word is. I think it's
like chance and dance.
Yeah, chance and dance. Yeah.
She don't dance no more.
Enough. Just settle down. Right?
Okay. Nah, Freo can't lose this game.
Really? They couldn't lose it last year, and they did.
They did too.
The first derby last year. I think if they'd won on Sunday, I'd be more confident. Obviously,
is this Carlton areas? Because you got Freo, everyone is saying you have to win, and the moment you are on the field thinking in that way, you are at risk of losing. Is that why you've got it as a banana skin game?
I just think it's a derby. So it's one of those games. It's like when Arsenal play Tottenham. It doesn't matter where the two teams are. It's going to be a hotly contested fight, and I think West Coast can take a lot of pride out of what they did on Sunday. So can Freo, to be fair, but I think West Coast can take that blueprint and be like, if we do that against Freo, who probably aren't as good as Brisbane, we can give it a fair shake.
I'm going to tip Freo, like for sure.
Yeah, despite of all I've said, I will be tipping Freo, but wouldn't be surprised if West Coast get it done. But I don't get an extra tip for that, so who cares?
Interesting. Collingwood and Sydney have buys.
Yep. What did you make?
Wait. Can we, before we move on from West Coast Fremantle, this Harley Reid stuff?
Oh yeah, great, brilliant, love it. Let's talk about it.
Let's unpack it. I talked about it a little bit last night on Footy Abroad, and I think we talked about it earlier with Sam Darcy. I don't know how many times we're going to say this, but our mainstream media, like, what's the culture of this joint? Like, the culture of the joint is, I'm going to be the first one to predict that this guy goes pick one or doesn't get picked, or I'm going to be the first one to predict that this guy's the next star of the competition, the next $2 million player. And then it's like a cycle. And then it's like you build up this thing and a Bevo and Tom Morris and like the beef. It's all so cooked, man. They are all so underqualified for the jobs that they do. And I think that is becoming more and more evident. If they're talking about the game and analyzing the game, brilliant, especially the former players. But then when they try and be funny and entertaining, and it's just like, you're so lame and old and dusty.
What do you mean? Were you not at the edge of your seat watching Bevo and Tom Morris talk for the first time in 3 years?
I would rather shit in my hands and clap than watch that.
That was weird. That was really weird. That was like, it was 3 years ago. Come on. The Harley Reid stuff in particular, also with the fact that he stuck the finger up at the crowd. Really? Are we doing this? Really? Come on. He's 19. He's being abused over the fence. It's funny.
Yeah.
Who cares?
The North fan sticks both birds up.
And she's an icon.
Champion.
She's an icon. Yeah,
Absolute
everyone loves
champion.
her. Everyone loves her. Put it everywhere. Put it on all the shows. It's great, right? Who cares? If Harley went up to the bloke and slapped him across the face, then yeah, maybe different story. But he didn't do that, and he's not going to do that.
Did he get reprimanded, Harley Reid?
You got to please explain.
Okay, because I remember Mark Murphy got a $900 fine for sticking his finger up at the Collingwood cheer squad, which to this day is one of the most iconic moments in modern Carlton history.
Yeah, that's top tier. If that happened,
man,
I reckon there would have been a serious crowd fun.
Ari, take me back, man. Round 3, 2012, man, take me back. Everything was so good. Everything was great. Life was unbelievable on that night. You know, I remember exactly where I sat that night. Like, I remember everything from that night.
Yeah. You were 21? 20.
2012? Fuck, man, it was 13 years ago, man. I'm getting old, Ari. Oh, man.
9. I was 9.
You were 9?
No, I was 8. 17.
Mark Murphy stuck his finger up at the Collingwood cheer squad. Like, it's iconic stuff.
Yeah. Garlett taking it up, robbing it off. Was it Heath Shaw or Harry O'Brien running into an open goal?
That was Eddie Betts. He kicked 5 that night.
How was it here? You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a time to
So-
be alive.
So I understand the whole you can't have players interfering with crowd members and yada yada. And so, like, him sticking his finger up at the crowd, like, cool, give him a please explain, sit him down, Harley, don't do that, mate. Just let it go. Like, you got to learn how to deal with it. I actually look at West Coast as a team culture more than anything here. Like, Harley's gonna play up, and he's 19. Mate, he's figuring it out. He's been put up on this pedestal. He's got fame and stardom and all of this stuff, and everyone's projecting onto him what they think he should and shouldn't be doing, and when he should and shouldn't be dominating. I think it's really important for him to have the right leaders around him just to guide him more than ever.
He probably doesn't have that. I mean, there's talk of his captain leaving at the end of the year, which probably isn't going to help the entire club culture. West Coast are a pretty well-run club. They're a pretty stable club. They've got good people in good places, I think. From my granted limited knowledge, so I'm not going to sit here talk like I'm an expert. But I thought the media commentary around him is quite funny because, like, I get it. If he's been strongly rumored to leave West Coast, if in 6 months' time he's met with Essendon, he's met with Brad Scott, then great, talk about him leaving because that might happen and that's topical. Mm-hmm. It is round 2. And, like, come on, like, what are we doing here? You're a footy show that's meant to be covering the current games and the weekend's events and stuff like that. And just, I don't know.
Harley will be fine. Harley will be absolutely fine.
I think he's going to absolutely dominate the league. Unsurprisingly so, I think.
Yeah.
So, that was
So that's that.
Very interesting.
Anything from Collingwood and Sydney who have the bye? You have anything on your mind about them or any other issues, topics, chat, anything else on your mind? We are live, so we can speak to you directly.
What did you watch a game on Friday night?
I saw... No, I didn't. What was I doing Friday? I wasn't paying full attention to the game. I saw bits of it.
Interesting. Preoccupied. Are you aware of the discourse surrounding the umpires?
Am I aware of what?
The discourse surrounding the umpires.
Oh, the 19 free kicks that Collingwood, like, in Collingwood's favour?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am aware. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, go. I've got another point as well.
I was going to bring it up to kind of speak on it more broadly, but that's one of the bigger disparities I've seen, and I'm not sitting here saying that the free kick count should be equal by any means because that's not how it works. But it was quite funny. There was a couple of free kicks late on. I think Isaac Waynor should have been pinned for a contact below the knees, which would have sent the Dogs inside 50 with deep inside 50 with about 20 seconds to go. So some game-changing moments, maybe potentially, who knows? But I thought that was an absolute cracker of a game. By the way, I thought that was absolutely brilliant, and also Mason Cox got punched in the head by a bloke with blue hair.
That was my topic. I might be the only one on this island, and I will happily stand on it. Rory Lobb should have been suspended.
No.
He disguised.
No.
He knew exactly where his fist was going. Is where I sit on it. You think it was an accident?
I think it was a bloke trying to spoil the ball and mistiming it.
No. Even by the definition, like, to put your fist in a spot where you think where it's reasonably, I think the term is an action which is deemed an action where you should have reasonably showed a duty of care, which could have resulted in a collision or an injury. I'm happy to sit on the island on my own. I think the AFL should have given him a week because now you can disguise a punch again.
A week, it would have been 2.
It would have had to be 2. Why?
Because based it would have been reckless, high contact, high impact. That's 2 weeks.
Not careless. Why reckless?
Yeah, sorry, careless. Sorry, careless.
Careless, high impact, high contact, and low impact.
No, it'd be high impact. He had to come off the ground and get stitches.
No, isn't high impact if you are injured and you can't partake in the game anymore?
But I also think
or
they
get
take into account.
concussion, or you know what I mean?
I think they take into account potential to cause injury.
Right. So I think he should have been given a week. And I thought the reception like online to Mason Cox was savage.
Look, I'm going to sit here and say I did a TikTok about that incident. Hold my hands up. I'm not, and the reason, and I justified it in my video. If Mason Cox had gone down with a concussion and had to be carried off the ground and was clearly in a bad way, I think the total discourse around it would have been different. I think it's different now that the fact that he's seemingly okay, walked off the ground, was ready to come back on, sort of thing. And also because it wasn't intentional. If Rory Lobb had gone and Barry hauled him, once again, very different. But yeah, yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
I think Rory Lobb knew exactly what he was doing at all times.
So careless, high contact, high impact is a 2-match suspension.
Okay, so what's careless, high contact, low impact?
Careless, high contact, and low impact are fine.
Yeah, that's what I think should have happened.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm happy to be the only one.
So yeah, fair enough.
Because when it happens to a Carlton man at some point in the next 6 weeks and we're all up in arms, I'm going to say, hey, it was all right when Lobb did it to Cox.
Yeah. I spoke to my colleagues at work who were Collingwood supporters, and they saw it happen, and they go, at the time, we were over the fence, like, just giving it all sorts. And then we realised, it isn't unfortunate incident, but yeah, imagine if that happened to Doc.
You know, in a weird way, I don't want it to happen. That'd get the Carlton faithful like fucking roaring again. That's like Darren Milburn areas, you know, like someone tries to spoil, punches Jack Silvani accidentally, like then it's on.
Yeah, talk about something to unite the fan base in a time where we are just uberly divided as a fan base.
Yep.
Obviously, don't want one of the Carlton players to get hit, but if it's a Roy Lobb again, ironically, coming across, or if it's like a Libba and it's like a 50-50 and he just like clips Jack or clips Doc or Charlie or Cripper, it'll turn into a cauldron quickly.
Is there a player from the Dogs who we would love to hate or love to, you know, show some animosity towards if he did something wrong? I mean, anyone
Libba is perennially that bloke.
Didn't Libba give the Carlton fans this one a few years ago? Okay.
Yeah. God, we have long memories. Yeah, they'll remember when 2 incidents that come to mind. Toby Green on Jordan Boyd last year.
Sorry, what?
2 incidents that come to mind. Jordan Boyd and Toby Green last year under the dome with Boyd and the collision. And then Josh Kennedy on Sam Doherty.
Oh, that was 2022 round 10 under the roof.
And JK did his hammy in that incident, and I remember that being getting pretty loud pretty quickly.
Oh, you know what? You're right. We need a fight on Friday. We need some dickhead to start a fight.
Is that the key? Like I'm not sitting here condoning lining someone up off the back of the square. I'm not sitting here condoning that. But if a 50-50 is there halfway through the first, a little bit of a lull to start the game, are we just leaving a bit of a knee in?
I don't want the Carlton players to start a fight. What I think we need, in a weird way, is for one of our opponents, whether it's the Dogs this week or Collingwood next week, to get so cocky against us that they start trying to, you know, show some bravado, and then it brings the group together. Because right now the group, have you noticed? They don't shepherd for each other, our boys.
Yeah, well,
it's not an instinct to shepherd, like handballs to Sardi, runs past Lewis Young just kind of like make sure he knows where his opponent is kind of thing. And it happened to other players too. So maybe a little bit of an arrogant moment from an opposition player, like a little Cody Waitman, something just to bring the boys together.
He's not playing, unfortunately, but it's the analogy I was going to use is like when you're in a bit of a biff with your brother, or with your sister, whoever, if you're annoyed with them for whatever reason and you're on a night out, or even if you're not, and then some random bloke comes up and starts something on him, all that angst and animosity totally forgotten as you say red, and you go, and you're there. It's almost like we're infighting. Everyone. It seems like the supporter base is infighting more than ever. It seems like the players aren't on the same page. I'm not going to sit there and say that they're infighting, but it seems like they're not all on the same page. So maybe it takes something externally to be like, hold on, what are we actually doing here, sort of thing.
Yeah. We need to come back to the football, like there's this and there's that and there's speculation and there's rumors and big footy and all of this, and what are we focusing on and what are we, and why was Kennedy the sub, and why did Doc play in the final but he wasn't ready to play in round one, like all of this bullshit, and we just need to just come back to the football.
Yeah.
Having said that, it could backfire if there is a bit of biffo from the Dogs and no one flies the flag, because then we just get more angry.
Well, the thing that sticks in my head just rent free, and I hate it, was 2023, the Essendon game. Zach Merritt kicks a goal just after halftime, and Ed Kerner standing the mark, and Zach Merritt gives it to Ed Kerner because obviously the tag was deployed that game. And it felt like 17 other Essendon blokes came in, ran around, giving shit to Ed and hyping up Merritt, and not one of our boys came and flew the flag. That was something that's always stuck rent-free in my head. So, God, I hope that if something like that was to happen, that we don't see a repeat of that reaction.
I remember when Liam Stocker kicked his first goal against Melbourne. Dave Cunningham did his ACL that day, first minute of the game, and no one got around Liam Stocker.
Yeah, that was bizarre that day.
Hey, your man Sam McClure said that Dave Cunningham was given a 5-year deal.
My man, I'm not mad at him. Yeah, well, we're all wrong at some stages. He was close. He was given a 3-year extension. He was given a 3-year extension on an already 2-year deal. That's probably what the thing was.
What else is going on in the world of football?
What else is? That's a good question. Thoughts on the Swam?
Thoughts on the Swam? Well, thoughts on the Swam are, this is what separates good teams from great teams. They just find a way.
Get the job done.
Yeah, they just find a way to just hang in there. And it's a choice to be great. And I thought they kept making the choices.
Why don't we choose to be great then?
Because we get rewarded for not being great.
By whom?
By validation externally from club, from fans. Yeah.
Interesting.
We don't have a full focus on football first. It's football amongst other things. There isn't an attention to detail on football. So that's why we're not great. We were great, but everyone is slowly waking up to the realization that that club is dead.
Yeah, well and truly.
Ooh, hold up. 7 News just said Harry was back at training and the club will decide tomorrow after the captain's run if he plays or not. So you're saying there's a chance?
Where is that just been kind of?
Well, on 7 News. So Damien, shout out to you, Damien. Damien always on the team show gives us the info before anyone else that he's got. People are just watching TV, but yeah, he usually he's a trusted source as someone who watches the news when the teams drop.
Nice.
They had vision of Harry in the car park. Wow, what a G up if he does play. True.
So he obviously, oh God, that's not good for the. That's interesting. What illness has he got then? Obviously something not contagious. Imagine it is. Obviously something not contagious. Or imagine it is, and then next week, 13 players out with gastro.
So
that
right
would
now,
be the most Carlton thing of all time. Everyone's sitting there doubting Harry's illness, and then next week, 13 other blokes cop the same thing.
It's so funny because there are a lot of angst today around Harry. Now there's a bit of a pulse, we'll decide tomorrow. teams will drop tomorrow. If he's not playing, the uproar will come again. If he does play...
Sorry, go. Yeah.
Go.
No, I was going to say, what do you think? I don't know if we touched on this. What do you think the reaction will be, majority, if he's not there?
If he's not playing?
Yeah.
Well, it just depends on what is said by the club.
What if it's just Harry McKay hasn't recovered from his illness last week? Will be reassessed at the beginning of round 3.
I think the rhetoric will continue to be around bullshit. If they say Harry needs to take some time away for personal reasons, I think it'll be like leave him alone.
You'd hope.
You'd hope.
We saw the reaction.
Well, look, the reality is this, mate. There are people who are so he's not, with respect, he's not a fringe player.
The reason why it's being talked about this much is because of how important he is.
Yeah. So he's not, he's a different... Harry McKay at his best is a difference maker to a result, potentially.
Absolutely.
So I think the scary part about Carlton right now is you've got DeConey. Our midfield is healthy. The best of the midfield is there. They're getting their numbers. And DeConey he's risen. He's elevated. And Cripps is there. And Walsh is there. And Chera's there, back to fitness. And Hewitt's there at his best.
Our team is healthy. Our team is healthy for the most part, barring 2 players. And they just happen to be the 2 blokes who are game winners.
Who?
Charlie and Harry. I mean, if you take Newman and Jagger aside. But
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you had 2 players injured, but those 2 players were 2 bona fide starting 22 players, but those 2 players were Akers, who's a great player, very important structurally, but I mean, barring from the chaos month they had in 2023, not an absolute game winner. Akers and Zach Williams, we're not having this conversation, and we've probably got 1, maybe 2 more wins on the board.
Look, you know what? I spoke to a friend this morning about the Doggies game, and he said to me, he's like, I'm still pissed off with what they did last time we played the Dogs. And then I was remembered about the frustration of that night. That was Cripps' 200th, and yep.
Interesting.
Is it a 50-50? It is a 50-50 game. It is. It's a coin flip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. Anyway.
Jay Clark just released an article about half an hour ago on the injury, as an injury update, but I don't pay for News Corp, so that might validate.
On Harry's injury?
Yeah, Super Footy AFL just tweeted. Carlton Spear Harry McKay remains in doubt to play Western Bulldogs on Friday night as he recovers from illness. Not quite sure what the article entails, though. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's us, mate.
Unless there's anything
else.
Final...
So much better live. So much better.
Oh, yeah. Comfortable, by such a considerable margin. Not even funny. Any last words?
Any last words? Words of wisdom? Yes. Yes, actually, I do. I came across a famous old Japanese quote, a Japanese legend that says, if you feel like you're losing everything, remember, trees lose their leaves every year, yet they still stand tall and wait for better days to come.
Stick fat.
Just stick together, man. We just got to ride it out because, as angry as we're going to get, we're just going to be there next week.
It's round 2.
Yeah.
How grim is this?
Shout out to the 2 Guys 1 Cup podcast. First of all, incredible name for a podcast.
Yeah, brilliant.
Easily the best name for a podcast that I think I've come across.
Yeah.
So they gave Blue Abroad like a proper shout out. So basically, Will Anderson and I forgot his name. Oh no, help Ari.
It's on the banner of the Spotify.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on the cover thing. But cut this bit out the way. Oh, it's live.
Help me out.
Charlie Coulson.
Charlie Coulson.
Clausen, I don't know.
So I didn't know this. I was alerted yesterday that they had given Blue Abroad a proper shout out. So they actually did it after round 1. They were talking about like the fan cams, and then they gave us a proper shout out in their episode this week. And they were talking about the fan cams. Basically, if you go to the round 2, you know what? I'll put the link for you guys to listen to it. I was actually touched, and I'll tell you why. So there's the link to their latest episode. 18 minutes and 17 seconds. They start talking about the fan cams. And so Will has gone into detail. He's researched what the fan cams is all about. And he was talking about, he had some really nice words to say about me and Pommy and whatever. And basically he was showing how we deal with the emotions of the game. And, you know, we're angry, and then it turns into laughter and therapeutic. And you got, you know, me and Pommy saying, I love you, man. I love you too. And then he contrasted it with what was happening on SEN. And I thought it was, for the first time, someone in like the industry actually taking the time to understand the essence of what the fan cams is all about, rather than just painting us all with, oh, look at those nuffies brush. So shout out to Will Anderson for doing that. Thank you. And yeah,
that was quite a funny turned into quite a almost insightful sort of listen, which was quite good. But yeah, credit to you as well, mate, for building the platform. That is, I think it's already been recognised by the people that need to recognise it. But
even more recognition, at the end of the day,
even more recognition goes a long way. So credit to you as well, mate.
Thank you. Now, well, look, I'm just going to say, on the Carlton YouTube channel, there is a Sights and Sounds video from training. Do you want to watch it?
You've got nowhere to be. Front bar doesn't start till 8:30, so.
Oh, all right. Chat, you want to watch the Carlton boys training, the video that they've got up? Should we do it? Or do you want to just watch it on your own?
I'm all on board.
All right. So, all right. We'll have a look. We can do Harry McKay watch. We can do it all.
Yeah, will he feature?
Okay.
Slobbo says Harry is training.
Harry's training. Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Let's just have a look here. Sard Akers, Fogarty Walsh, Ollie in long sleeves, Jack Silvani, Francis Evans. No worries. Whoop. That's Harry.
Could be Ben.
Whoop. That's Sard at stoppage. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Finally. Whoa. Hey. Whoa.
Wiedering, love the fade going on in the back of that head.
He's got the arrow. Can I just say, Harry's like, I want to say front and center, but not hidden. Like he's there. Yep. Like it's quite obvious that he's there. Yeah.
Well, Jacob's gone with a bit of attitude with this hairstyle.
Yeah, it's very.
Gone a little bit further up with the fade. Yeah.
Nick
enjoy the session like we haven't enjoyed a session before. We do that by celebrating defense, valuing it, and bringing energy.
How about Kempy?
Brody
addressing the group.
Come on! Hey.
I saw his thing off good landed.
Well done. Hot Rick, come in, Rick. Hot Rick. Hey, Whooper, you're in. Whooper.
Draw.
Yeah, nice delivery. Yeah, I'm with you, move back. You got Doc for one.
Go on, hold it if you need to.
Let's go, even numbers here, boys. Let's pressure him. Pressure him. Will you go, George? Will you?
Good release.
I still see Harry.
Brody forward, yeah, still.
Oh, that's my man right there.
Good boy. Soft in the orange bib indicating defender as well.
Oh boy.
Lucia?
Oh, Nui.
Very good solid.
Deep, help.
Woof.
I think that's more of a meow.
Oh man, I thought that was Jagger for like a split second.
Who is that?
That might be Jack Ison. No. Oh, that's Will White. Sorry. Man, that's Harry.
Absolutely, like front and center.
That's Harry.
Yep.
Any guys stood out today? Want to give a mention? Campo, he's had like a couple of weeks off, and the way he's come back, attitude, he's cracking in the contest, and that's great to see, mate. So keep
Yeah,
on at it. Got that Charlie back as well. Well, boys, I thought it was a great session. I thought we trained really well this week. Got the energy throughout the week. It's been important. I reckon we saw some real growth in our offense. Feel it to explode. We'll harp on it tomorrow, but all that comes off the back of our defense, right? So it's not lose sight of the fact that that gives us the opportunity to explode. So good session. I feel like we're well prepared for the doggies.
Very, very good videography, can I just say? So I shout out whoever filmed that. That was great.
I think we're winning.
Can I just? I want to point something out. While she said at the end, good to have Charlie back. Hasn't he been training fully for the last 3 weeks?
Wasn't
that the rhetoric?
Hmm.
Unless I misheard that. But from
no, I think they were just giving props to players that trained well, and they pointed out Charlie after Ben.
Hopefully. But yeah, hopefully. Yeah, interesting. That was
Okay, so Harry trained.
And yeah, and seemingly no questions about it. Just like, there you go, he's there. We're not hiding him, he's not on, didn't look like he was in kind of limited minutes per se.
Well, imagine he just gets named tomorrow and it's just a non-story all along.
And he just goes out and kicks 6 on Buku Khan.
Or someone leaked a little lie to see like who would bite so they can try and find who the leak was.
Is this insane copium?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wait. If Harry is sick,
why is it
as
then?
in like gastro, the flu, he would not have trained because you don't want to get the boys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It must not be contagious if he's there. You can still be sick and not be contagious, to be fair.
That's true. We've got to get behind Harry, man.
More than ever before.
Yep.
Yeah. Even arguably more than when he went through his tough patch in the middle of 2023.
Yep. Needs to kick the first goal of the game.
Oh, yeah. Harry first, Charlie second, Cripper third.
He does have good form against the Dogs. Do you remember that game in 2019?
Yeah, dominated where he arrived.
I remember that. That was the first time we kicked 100 points in however long it was.
Yeah, S. Walsh with it. The kid does it on cue.
Cruiser down to Dow, handball to Walsh.
Yeah. Who kicked the goal before the 100th?
Fisher?
Correct.
Did he? I think Fish is like, what's going on with Fish? He's not even playing.
Can't get ahead of Chom, mate.
Oh well. Sad times. Would you bring any of those boys back? Just, lick the finger and go one more time?
Dare I say, we could use a bit of forward craft by Matthew Owies.
Could use a bit of forward craft by Matthew Owies. Yeah. Yeah, we really could.
Very good for a goal a game, minimum.
We could. Oh, well.
How far do you want to extend it back? Because a primes actually would be great right now.
Yeah. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. The Almost Blues Brothers have got a couple of videos coming out. One is about to pop off now at 7:30. And then another one's coming out tomorrow at 7 p.m. I will be live tomorrow from 5 p.m. for the team's show. Let's find out if Harry's playing or not officially. And we'll go from there. Good stuff, Ari. Go Blues, mate.
Go Blues.